to be our invitation song. Please be seated.
Bible reading today will come from Romans 12, 4 and 5. Just for as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, through many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. Romans 12, 4 and 5.
Good job, Eric. Good morning. I'm glad to be here, as I know many of you are. I've seen a lot of smiling faces this morning, and I always enjoy the opportunity to get up here and to speak a little bit, mainly because I control the time we get out. If we want to get out early and go eat, we can do that. Kind of like Tony's over control of singing, I'm over control of this. No, this morning, if you can see my PowerPoint slide, I don't ever get too complicated on my slides. Number one, because I get lost if I'm trying to keep you in line. So I just give Paul one picture, and I just say use that as my background. And that's what I stick with. But using that picture, I want to talk about something this morning. I love sports in general. I just love everything about them, and I'm not necessarily talking about just watching them. I love watching sports. But I love being physically involved with them. And as everybody knows, I could use all the physical involvement I can get. But I love playing sports. You know, I got home about 1:30 this morning. That's always the bad part. We had a softball tournament in Arkadelphia last night and had quite a bit of fun, enjoyed it. You know, the guys have a golf trip today, you know. But I enjoy sports because I enjoy the camaraderie. You know, I enjoy the excitement and the fun of playing something with other people. You know, and even more so, I enjoy being successful with other people. Sports are always the funnest when you're winning. Everybody knows that, and that's not always the case, but it's fun to be successful and enjoy that success and share that success with other people. And we found a little bit of success last night, not the ultimate success. You know, we came home with third. But as we're going through the night and we're playing good and we're enjoying each other's company, it was a good day. You know, and if you know me, you will know that I am a very competitive person. I always have been. I hate losing, even if it's Monopoly. I hate losing. And, you know, maybe sometimes that's a bad quality, you know, but I can't stand it. Maybe sometimes I take sports or anything I'm doing too serious, but at the end of the day, I want to put myself in the best position to win. I just love the feeling of winning. I always have. You know, a lot of times in softball, and it's slow pitch. You know, that's what once you pass a certain age, that's what you graduate to, is slow pitch softball. You know, I always end up being the team captain. And I had a friend of mine, he had asked me, you know, a couple weeks ago if I would play in this tournament with him last night. It was a men's tournament. It was a benefit for a guy who's very sick, and they had about 20 teams in this tournament, real good turnout. And then my friend of mine, he asked me, he said, you know, do you want to play with us? And I said, yeah. And he asked me to be the captain. I said, man, I don't really want to be the captain this time. I said, I just want to play. You know, being the captain, it's a lot of responsibility as far as just making sure everything is taken care of. You got to put a lot of effort in getting a team together, making sure you got the equipment, finding accountable people. You know, there's nothing worse than showing up to a tournament and you got two guys that didn't show up. And so I told him, I said, no, I don't want to be the captain. Well, I ended up being the captain anyways because he wasn't doing a good enough job. I asked him about a week into it. I said, well, who do you got so far? And he named me, him, and two guys that we had when he asked me. Okay. And I don't want to go anywhere to lose. You know, those that know me, when it comes to playing softball tournaments and stuff like that, I'm very picky about who I ask to play for me when it comes to tournaments for numerous reasons. But the number one reason, obviously, is it is never my intention to show up to something like that and lose. In whatever sport or whatever tournament I go to, it is my intention to show up, compete at the highest level with my team, and at the end of the day, it is our intention to win. And I want to put myself in the best position to win. And folks, I believe that same attitude and that same mindset can translate directly into Christianity. That same mindset can translate directly into your spiritual walk. At the end of the day, victory is the goal. Victory in Jesus. How many of you here like to lose? I don't see one hand. Nobody likes to lose. You know, just as we have teams in sports, we read about Eric's verse that he read to us, God organized His church. He organized the body that we have here to operate as a cooperative unit, a group of people with the same goal, the same expectations, and at the end of the day, Lord willing, the same reward. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be focused. And I talk about the mindset that you can have and that I have in regards to sports and playing on teams with other people that I care about and I enjoy their company. I've got two responsibilities when it comes to those situations. And those two responsibilities are the same in the Lord's body. Number one, I have a responsibility to others as a teammate. You know, a lot of times, guys, as a captain or rather just as a teammate in general, I've got a responsibility to the people that play with me. It is my job to encourage the people that are on my team to be better and to do whatever it takes to help them be better. If I see something going wrong, if I see something that they're missing, it's my job to get in there and to show them how they can improve their current situation. We lay the building blocks for our young people growing up all the way from the nursery all the way to the adults, because when they get to the adult world, they're going to face the responsibilities that comes with the adult world, and they got to be prepared to be able to handle the things that adults have to handle. We've got to prepare the people in our congregations to be able to handle the world that's going to come at them, a world that is anti-God as a whole. We've got to be that encouragement. There is a Bible story, I believe, that is applicable in this situation. Genesis chapter 4. You got the story of two brothers, Cain and Abel. Many of you know that story. We know that Cain killed his brother Abel. And God comes into him in verse 9 and He asks him, He says, Cain, where's your brother Abel? Cain answered, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? Cain already knew the answer to that question. And Cain has an attitude problem. And God is zeroing in on Cain's attitude problem. He's putting him on the spot. He's trying to get him with a pointed question by saying, how do you expect me to know where he is? Am I my brother's keeper? Am I supposed to follow him around every minute and know where he is, what he's doing? He's not my responsibility. That's what Cain is saying. Cain's response to God was one of a calloused indifference. Pushing away the subject. Pushing away the response that, should I be watching out for my brother? You know, that is all too common throughout the course of our lives and the culture today of asking the question, are we our brother's keeper? People tend to have the attitude of, I've got enough to look after looking after myself. I don't have time to look out for the other people. You know, on the other hand, many times people will quickly answer that question, am I my brother's keeper? And they'll quickly say, yes, I'm my brother's keeper. But it turns out to be rather a duty required, but a duty that's generally neglected. Oftentimes, we may not be truly fulfilling our responsibility to the people that are in this congregation with us, to the people that are in our lives, and to truly be looking out for their self-interest? We talked about in class this morning, I was telling my kids, I said, you got your friends out there and you got your family. And sometimes we might say that we truly care about people. And let me ask you this, if you truly care about the people, are you talking to them about God? Because if not, I don't know if we truly care about those people. Because if we truly cared about the people in our life that don't know about God, then our number one intention would be what? Victory. Let me help you as a teammate be the best person and reach the highest potential that you can reach. And that's by getting to heaven. That's by me getting you to a place where you can know you have a good relationship with God. Matthew Henry said, he said, when a person is unconcerned in the affairs of others and takes no care when they have the opportunity to do so, to prevent hurt, especially in their souls, then that person, in effect, speaks Cain's language. That person, in effect, has the mindset and the calloused indifference of not truly caring about the people in their life and saying, am I my brother's keeper? The answer to that question, Cain, is yes, absolutely. Your responsibility to the people who you are supposed to care about is to look out for them. Your responsibility is to always have their back and to lift them up. Number one, in God. I want the people on my sports teams to be the best that they can be. And obviously I picked them because they're better than me. It's not hard to be better than me. I picked them because they're talented. And so when I see that they've got more potential, I let them know. You know, to be or not to be. Should I be my brother's keeper or should I strictly mind my own business? Brother and sister, Scripture doesn't necessarily come right out and give a commandment that says, thou shalt be thy brother's keeper. But God does say it in a couple other ways in the New Testament. In Matthew chapter 22, verse 38, Jesus answered the question. He said, Teacher, which is the greatest commandment? And Jesus replied, he said this. He said, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, all men may know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. You go to the book of Matthew chapter 20 through 38. We just read John 13:34. I'm sorry. And he said, Teacher, what is the greatest commandment? He replied, love your Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is love your neighbor as yourself. I want you to succeed. You look at the people around you, you look at the person to your right, and you look at the person to your left, and you tell them, I want you to succeed. We want this congregation here in D Queen, the Lord's body in D Queen. We want it to be so successful that people all across the state hear about it. And the more people that hear about it, the more people are converted. But they look at you and you tell somebody, yeah, I'm a member. I'm a member over at the D Queen Church of Christ, the Lord's body that gathers in D Queen, and immediately they know who you are because of the work that goes on here. The teamwork, the camaraderie, the looking out for each other, the brother's keeper attitude, making each other better. Do not be afraid, my friends, to be involved, because by being involved, you have a responsibility to others. By being involved, you are fulfilling that responsibility of helping the congregation here grow. And I'm not necessarily talking about just growing in numbers. I'm talking about growing in general, growing in our spirituality, being there for each other. I love being part of a team. You know, there's a lot of sports out there that are solo sports. Oh, I love it. I tell people all the time, I love golf and I like to play in golf tournaments. You'll never find me playing in one of those just solo man golf tournaments. Number one, I'm not good enough. I tell everybody I'm a great scramble partner. You know, I can hit two shots a day and have fun with friends and I'm done. I've got a responsibility to others to help them, to encourage them, and to lift them up. That's part of being a team. But another part of being a competitive individual, being a person who wants victory, I've got a responsibility, number 2, to myself. How many of you want to win? Now, I'll tell you, I'm not a very good ball player. I'm past my prime, if I even had a prime, if you want to say that. You know, I can never play anymore and not hurt something. I played basketball Wednesday with the kids down here and broke my back. I fell last night trying to lay out for a ball in softball and thought I broke my knee. You know, I'll tend to make an error every now and then. I might get up there and strike out and embarrass myself. And I know these things. And it's because I know those things that I have a responsibility to myself, that I have to surround myself with people who I know, number 1, are better than me. Because I know if I go to one of these tournaments in any sport, whatever it is, doesn't matter what sport, if I go to one of these tournaments and I depend on Michael to win the tournament, well, I got a bad day coming. So I pick people who are better than me. I surround myself with winners. I surround myself with people who I know are going to get me a victory because I love to win, and I always try to find those kind of people. I want to find people that want to win just as bad as I do. And I tell you, sometimes maybe it's bad. We'll be out here every Wednesday night, and all of you are invited. We're trying to get this big. We're out here every Wednesday night at the Sportsplex after church, and we play a little softball, and it's just fun. Trust me. We pick teams when we get out there. And sometimes we might be losing, and I'll be getting frustrated over the dugout, and I'll say something. And Gage told me one time, he was in the outfield, he said, Mike, it's not that serious. It is that serious. I don't want to lose. And so anytime, I like being the captain when it comes to those because I'm going to look and I'm going to try and pick who I think is the best ball players out there because I know that I got to have somebody that's going to help me win. And guys, as a Christian in today's world, I believe that you have got to follow that same principle. The responsibility that you have to yourself is to surround yourself with people who are going to help you get the victory. And you're in a building full of those people right now. If you place yourself in situations of failure, situations with people who are satisfied with being less than winners, that are satisfied with being less than what God intended them to be, then my friends, you will fall into that same trap. This isn't, we talk about peer pressure for kids and we talk about our friends having good friends, and I'm going to tell you right now, that is just as important as for us adults as well. I say all the time, the reason I love youth ministry so much, number 1, is because I need it, because I need to be with those kids, because they're good for me. They keep me focused on the things that I need to be focused on. You know, we talk about men and different characters in the Bible, and I want you to think about Solomon. Solomon was one of the richest and wisest men in the world during that time. And I think, how much do you think people would pay to spend a little bit of time with Solomon? Just maybe an hour. You think about people today, how much do people spend an hour with Donald Trump or Mark Cuban or Bill Gates? Why? Because in their areas, they're the best of the best of what they do. They're very intelligent. They've accomplished so many great things in their life as far as worldly matters go, that we hope that maybe, just maybe, if we hang around those rich guys, something will rub off on us. And that's exactly what Solomon was saying, the wisest king. Proverbs chapter 13, he says this. He says, become wise by walking with the wise. Hang out with fools and watch your life fall to pieces. You want to hang out with people that are satisfied with losing, find yourself a loser. But if you want to hang out with people who are focused at being the best individuals that they can be, find yourself in that situation as well. Find successful people and you will find success in yourself. Just like spending time with the wise impacts us positively, spending time with fools can and will impact our lives negatively. Friends, if you find yourself in situations where you know you shouldn't be in today's world, avoid those situations, I beg of you. If you find yourself potentially being that bad influence to other people, I beg you, change your mindset and realize the responsibility that you have to others, but also to yourself. In this verse, Solomon warns us against spending time with people who eat, drink, and sleep. His point is that those people lack self-control. And God doesn't want their irresponsibleness to rub off on you. I'll say it in a simpler way. He says, don't fool yourself into thinking that hanging out with bad friends cannot derail the path that God has for you. Church, I see everybody in this auditorium this morning, and I see so much untapped potential. I see some people out here that just need a little bit of encouragement. And then I see the things that you could possibly accomplish. You are in a building full of people that care about you. You are in a building full of people that want to see you succeed and succeed with you. We have so many avenues in this congregation for you to be involved. I don't know if it's teaching, just helping out with events that we have going on. We have so many avenues for you to help your fellow man in this congregation. Don't sit in the stands, my friends, when you can be on the field. Come and play. I seen a couple of examples last night of some bad teams at that tournament. I'm not talking about talent level. They were very talented. I'm talking about bad camaraderie. Teams that imploded. Teams that had bad dissension. Bad attitudes toward each other. Every time an error was made, they were just not in a beneficial way. They were just screaming at each other. And I don't have to tell you last night how far those teams made it. They went home early. I truly enjoy the teams that I get to play on. Because not only are they always a group of talented people, but they're a group of encouragers. That's why I don't play with Jeff. He just kicks you while you're down. I'm kidding. Surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up in your weakest moments. Surround yourself with people that you know are good for you, who in moments of failure do their best to make you better. In the church over the past 10 years, in my quote-unquote ministry, I have changed a lot as far as how I react to things. You know, when I was a young Christian youth minister, you know, anytime somebody did bad, it's like and my approach has changed over the years. I've gotten a little bits of advice that helped me. And I always go back to a saying that my instructors at Memphis had told me. Ty's probably heard the same thing. They told us they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I've tried to incorporate that into my ministry, and it's been a lot more effective over the years. It's not about beating this into somebody's head. It's about showing them why they need it and showing them what they can be with it. Church, I want you to know this morning what you can be with it. Most important thing is you can be part of a team that works together. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12, beginning in verse 12, for as the body is one and has many members, And all the members of that one body, being are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit we are all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but it is many. Verse 15, if one foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now God hath set the members up, every one of them in the body, as it hath pleased them. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But they're not all one member. But now they are many members, but we are one body. We, brothers and sisters, are one team. Do you want to win? I do. Let's have faith in each other. Let's encourage each other. Let's bear the load together. I have always said, to play on my team, you don't have to be the most talented. You just have to give the most effort. I asked this morning, give your efforts to God. Give every effort that you have and strive to be the best that you can be for others, but also for yourself. Friends, if you have any need this morning, you want to take hold of the salvation that God has promised to you. It is there, and we can take hold of that. You can be baptized into His body, as we just read. The water's ready. What is your need? We ask that you come now as we stand and as we sing. As I am without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come. I come, just as I am, and waiting not to rid my soul of one dark blot, to thee whose blood can cleanse each spot, O Lamb of God, I come. I come broken to be mended. I come wounded to be healed. I come desperate to be rescued. I come empty to be filled. I come guilty to be pardoned by the blood of Christ the Lamb. And I'm welcome with open arms, praise God, just as I am. I come broken to be mended. I come wounded to be healed. I come desperate to be rescued. I come empty to be filled. I come guilty to be pardoned by the blood of Christ the Lamb. And I'm welcome with open arms, praise God, just as I am.
Be seated, please.